Hey guys, this is Mirandus here. We're going to talk today about the Tesla Advent. So this one isn't too bad. There isn't as much RNG as some of the other Advents, although there is a lot of damage. So as long as you have some dark units built up, wasn't too much of a problem. I kind of walked in blind earlier this morning and was able to complete it, but I do have some dark units. First, let's look at the party info. So Margarita with the new units increases all dark allies attack by 100%. She's really helpful in here. I would suggest bringing one as a friend if you do not have one of your own. And even if you do have one, I would suggest doubling up, getting 2 Margaritas. Mary is also pretty good in this Advent. This decreases skill cooldowns, is not as helpful as it might sound, but it's still helpful. The reason why she's good is she has a lot of AoE. There are a lot of ads that die. When ads die, she heals, and she's able to keep herself out pretty well. Janice, perfectly fine to use him as well. There's a lot of damage. Someone can randomly die. You can use make use of some of his passives, and the recovery is nice because you can take this Advent a little bit slower. It doesn't have an enrage like Nikita or Lily, and don't take Kane or Callie. So let's take a look at the team that I used to clear. So this is the team I use to clear now. My friend slot is another Margarita. The first time I did this, I didn't have my Margarita built, so I actually had Mary as my lead, and I had Ramu as my healer, and I actually brought Morgan as well. So not the 100% most efficient comp, but Morgan did enough damage that that it was fine. I've also heard of Tayo being used quite a bit. He does plenty of damage. You can have him kill ads. As long as you pay attention to the mechanics, which we'll go over in the fight, you should be fine. For those asking how you should build Margarita, she should have as much attack as possible. You do this by, I don't have the most optimal runes, but trying to get attack on the 4th slot and the 5th slot. If you look at her details, I also have her just under 35% crit. This is because she gets 40% crit from her Executioner, brings her to 70 crit, or 73.70% crit, which is almost at the cap. Cap is 75. The rest I've poured into crit damage. For her talents, I've taken Planned Attack because Planned Attack and Blade Twister give the same percentage here in talents, but if you look at the runes, we'll take a look at this rune over here, you get a way more critical damage than you do critical chance. I believe it's double, but I'm not 100% sure. It seems that way if you look at it. And so it's easier to get more crit damage here. You can go all crit damage on your runes. It gives her a 20% base or 60% with her executioners. That's quite fine. But you want to make sure she's 60 for this one here. Whenever she crits, she gets 50% of her health back, and she also decreases skill cooldowns, which is pretty important for making sure that her 3 is up, her executioner is up all the time. When you cast her 3, she gets executioner for 3 turns. It's on a 7-turn cooldown. With Mary, it's on 6, so you can get that cooldown back before it falls off, which is really helpful because it's a very strong AoE in this Advent. Some other helpful units, you can use Ashley, Tayo. You can use your healer of your choice. I've used Ramu. You can use Sid. Anyone with good throughput, like Karen, is going to be fine as well. There's nothing that hurts enemies that are not of the dark element, like in Nikita, where she destroys anything that's not water. So you can experiment and play around. So I will go and find someone on my friends list to bring. Let's take a look here. 7,000 attack, that's fine. This is PvP spec. If you want to make it easier, you can find someone who has PvE type talents. Let's look at this one here. Perfect. Damage dealt to bosses, very high attack. Yeah, good crit damage. Crit strike is over the cap, but that's okay. And we'll take this one. This is a good one. So the first wave is going to be 5 machines. They're going to be 2 support ones, which are the ones on the far ones, the green ones. Those will heal. You've got the innermost ones, the yellow orangish ones. Those are also support ones. They increase damage, but they also guarantee this overcharge debuff when they hit somebody. And then the middle one is definitely the damage one. So let's take a look at what they do. So the yellow one guarantees overcurrent will be applied when attacking. It also buffs teammates. The green one decreases damage without overcurrent, increases damage when you do have overcurrent. So to do the most damage, you want this overcurrent debuff. But they also take damage, and they get stunned if you remove it. So you gotta have to watch out for that. And then the blue ones are the dangerous one. They stack up to 5 charges. When they stack up to 5 charge, they do an AoE that does a lot of damage. It can kill units if they don't have a lot of health. Typically, it won't, but it hurts. They also are immune to statuses, so you can't stun them. And they also take less damage when you don't have overcurrent. So the mechanic here is you want your DPS with overcurrent so they can do more damage to everything except the yellow TP 180s. And I haven't found a way to kill the blue ones before they get a charge off, so generally you'll have to take at least one. Right now, Mary and my friend Margarita have the overcharge, so I'm just gonna try to burst as hard as I can. As you see, these charges build up pretty fast. This one's at 3 already. Mary has her self-res, so I'm not too worried about her dying. Just gonna AoE with Nix anyway, even though she doesn't have the overcurrent. And I'm also just going to get Executioner as fast as possible with my Margarita. My friend Margarita will do a lot more damage, as you can see, because she has overcurrent. But this blue does have 5 stacks. If I can't kill him before the next turn, I will take some damage on some of my characters, which you can see here. Does the stun, does the static jolt. They receive an additional damage when attacked, applies overcurrent when to the target when removed. So just finish this blue one off here. So you can use debuff removals to get that overcurrent, which can be helpful. So Lynn, she will summon 2 adds every turn. She also takes less damage if you don't have overcurrent. But the thing that you have to know is that she gets an unremovable shield when there are 2 or more allies, including herself. So at the start of her turn, and when you kill one of these adds, it will remove the shield. If there are 3 or more units at any time, like there currently is 1, 2, 3, she will do a really powerful burst on, I believe, 3 characters on her next turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and heal Nix and my friend Margarita. I'll give them overcurrent so they can do more damage. And I'm going to focus on making sure that these yellows die here. So Lynn doesn't do her extra damage. Lynn also, on her attacks, can give overcurrent, so I'm not too worried about killing those turrets and not having overcurrent for later. At about a little bit over 200,000 health, she will start to summon a full army. So 4 guys like this, or 3. You just want to make sure that you're ready to burst them, so you don't get hit by her really strong attack there, which I might not be able to because my Mary doesn't have overcurrent, so might get hit by this pretty hard. There it goes. I killed my Mary. And the counter killed my Nix. So as you can see, the crits sustain her pretty well. Try to keep the Executioner on at all times. I'm just going to go ahead and bring back Mary, since she can heal herself as well. And I'm going to go ahead and just burst Lynn so she dies. Okay, Tesla, the first phase isn't too bad. She has a similar, she has the overload error, which you need overcurrent to deal more damage. She will revive on death, but she has a similar high-powered attack when there are 4 or more allies instead of 3. And she summons like 1 ally at a time until she hits the revive, in which case she will make them berserk for more damage, and she'll summon a full 4, so there'll be 5 enemies. You need to AoE that as quick as possible. We'll just kind of slowly push her there while killing adds. You can see that my Margarita friend only did like 6,000 damage, and that's because they did not have the overcurrent debuff. It makes a big difference when dealing with Tesla and anything that has that damage resistance, that overload error. Just gonna continue just slowly killing these adds. Oops. So I do have overload, and I do have her number 2, so I'm going to burst this blue one so I can't get charges. That also heals my Mary. Just take it nice and slow. Apparently it didn't matter. My Mary died anyway. Typically, I don't have 2 guys die like this, so usually Nix is able to help with damage as well, since her 1 hits 2 people. But we'll take the cards how they're dealt. the extra help. I'm getting a lot of ads stacking up here. As you can see, if you've got the overcurrent and you use her 3, it pretty much wipes the board clean. So as we get closer to the res, I'm just going to make sure that I watch and make sure I have at least one of their 3s available. Which I don't. I messed up there. I'm going to get hit by the AoE definitely here. I didn't think that was going to do that much damage, so that was my fault there. As you can see, since you crit multiple times of that, you just heal for a crap ton. And I should just be able to finish her off with a 2 right here. Oh, she didn't have the current, unfortunately. Should be able to finish her off with this one, though. And that's it. It's a little messier than it normally is, but just to show you can do it with just 2 margaritas. So if you only have 1 unit that you can max and you did pull a margarita, that would be my suggestion. She survives well because she heals herself a lot, and that AoE can clear the board completely for you on the last phase. You need any tips or tricks, just ask, or if you need any advice, feel free to ask. Thanks. Bye.